Most of us in the fire service at this point are aware of our increased incidence of cancer and cancer mortality as compared to the general public. But one of the things that's not well understood is the biological mechanisms that increase our cancer risk. In other words, like, why does it happen to us? And one of the things we do know, though, is our occupational exposures as firefighters can increase our cancer risk. My name's Derek Urwin. I'm an engineer with the Los Angeles County Fire Department and also a proud member of Local 1014. Also an Assistant Adjunct Professor in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at UCLA, where I study firefighter cancer risk. I lost my younger brother Isaac to leukemia when he was just 33 years old, and it was my fire service family that got me and my family through those tough times. And after things quieted down a bit after his passing, I went back to school to study cancer. To try to do something about this terrible disease that took my brother and takes so many of our brother and sister firefighters. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, or IARC for short, is an organization that actually classifies things that we know cause cancer in humans. So these are things like chemicals or radiation that we know trigger cancers in human beings. And based off of research done over the last few years, IARC actually classified firefighting as carcinogenic to humans the same way they classify chemicals like benzene as carcinogens. And this is a pretty substantial finding when it comes to things that we call the key characteristics of carcinogens. They actually found that firefighting was associated with 5 key characteristics of carcinogens, whereas many other carcinogens really only are associated with 1, maybe 2 key characteristics. So that's really indicative of how daunting it is when it comes to our cancer risk. Diesel exhaust is a known human carcinogen, and we respond to every incident on a diesel apparatus. Even if you have a brand new rig with a clean diesel motor, you're still exposed to diesel exhaust, and there's still carcinogens in those. One of the things that's very different about our occupation as firefighters as compared to the general public is the chemicals that we're exposed to in products of combustion that we encounter on structure fires, vehicle fires, wildland fires, etc. With these challenging wildfire seasons that we've been having year after year are just totally different than what firefighters elsewhere in the country experience. There's also the shift work with sleep disruption. It doesn't matter, right? We answer the call 24/7, and frequently we don't get a good night's sleep, running 6, 7, 8 calls after midnight every night. And a lot of people aren't aware that that can actually increase your risk for cancer. There's a lot of our own personal factors that can increase our cancer risk, and 2 of the most basic that we can manage are our diet and our activity level, our exercise. This is where it kind of gets back to being similar to cholesterol. You know that if you have a poor diet, you're going to increase your risk for heart disease. Same thing with cancer. If you have a poor diet, you're going to increase your risk for cancer. And if you're just starting out your career, you're going to find that it's hard to stay on top of a good, healthy diet, but we have to. It can be tricky on duty, but you've got to do it off duty, and you got to stay on top of the exercise, even when you're tired, even when you're run down, even when you're sore. The exercise makes a huge difference. Some of the practical, simple things we can do, probably one of the most important things we can do, is getting in a shower within 1 hour after a fire. It seems like no big deal, like, hey, I'll just get around to the shower whenever. But anytime you fight a fire, you're exposed to carcinogens in the smoke. And even if you wear your full PPE, those carcinogens can actually get on your skin, and they start the process of being absorbed through your skin. And the process of absorption doesn't stop until you wash those carcinogens away. And we know from past research that within 5 or 6 hours, something like 50 to 60% of the carcinogens on your skin are absorbed into your body. So the sooner you get into that shower, the sooner you're going to stop the process of absorption through your skin. And then one of the other things that's just really straightforward and really important to do is keeping your gear clean. We all used to think that it was awesome to have dirty gear because you looked like a worker. It looked like you'd put in a hard day's work. The thing is, you can still put in a hard day's work without your gear always looking like it's thrashed. And when your gear does look like it's thrashed, just putting it plain and simple, you're increasing your cancer risk. So that gets back to fighting fire aggressively while being aggressive about preventing cancer. You can have clean gear and you can work hard. God forbid that cancer diagnosis ever comes along, personal exposure reporting is so important when it comes to supporting your presumptive occupational cancer claim. So throughout the duration of your career, again, from day 1 as a brand new firefighter, you have to stay on top of your personal exposure reporting. A good set of personal exposure reporting records is going to make all the difference for you and your family.